That's why I looked at it and go, why didn't I back that game? Like, who goes there? I think I should have known better.
I should have too. And I did.
Okay.
I didn't back it. I late backed it.
Oh, you packed it in backer kit? I was an early backer because I loved the franchise. My brain went, you might have player elimination. Like, no, that's fine. Give my money. You might have player elimination. No, it's fine. I don't know why I don't read these matches.
But that's not why that game's broken. There's so many other things that make that game broken.
I could have lived with it. I think it's because I didn't fully understand the market and the game mechanics and how it worked. I didn't realize how much I disliked the fact that its paranoia mechanic has no way of revealing itself.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I had a problem with player elimination. I think if you mitigate that, then there's some randomness, but I assume they knew what they were doing. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
I wish they had done the infection mechanic the same as Bob.
As Thing Infection of Outpost, yeah. Yeah, that would have been... Even Thing, I'm not even a huge fan of that one. I think, personally, the best system to have done that was to have the Thing being able to infect other people, but be limited, but also have to sabotage the group.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you become the Thing, and then your attitude has to change. Now you have to do this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have been nice if neither game had the friggin' helicopter. Because the helicopter isn't in the franchise. Yeah. Both of them have a helicopter. Why did you have to have a helicopter? Simply survive, right? And it has to be an exit. Why does it have to be an ending?
Mm-hmm.
None of the games, none of the movies had an ending. They just ended.
Mm-hmm.
The game, the whole definition of the original film is that you were unsure who was the Thing by the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So make a really hard game where the Thing's objective is to make sure that the group loses the game. And there's a certain point, you run it, and if you make it to the end, you're at the end of the game. Did you survive until the end of the game?
Yeah.
Then you've won.
Yeah, and then reveal
and then at that point you're just like, and then just let the game, like, did we all win? We all win. The Thing won as well, but you all have to deal with the fact that...
Or make the game, did you discover who the Thing was and did you kill it?
Well,
that could have been what they did.
Yeah, that could have been.
That would have changed the game completely.
But there's a part of me that's also wondering, if you wanted to have the paranoia mechanic, how about simply having, like the movie, that, oh, you guys all made it together. Yeah, we survived it. Is anyone here the Thing? He raises his hand and is like,
crap.
Oh, shit. But we still won? Yeah, we still won. Including me.
Well, yeah, but see, that would be where the Thing wins, though.
No, literally, don't. Don't do that. Don't make it that. Literally, leave it open-ended.
See, I think you could do it the other way, where you make it be that if the Thing lives to the end, then you lose.
I can deal with that, but that's still basically the helicopter thing.
But, no, because the way I'm saying is you have to actively discover and eliminate the Thing. Not necessarily player elimination, but, I guess technically.
Yeah, how do you deal with that, right? How do you deal with that without putting player elimination in?
But, I mean, they already got player elimination, so why not make it that?
Because I hate player elimination.
I know, but I'm saying, though, is that would be the best way to actually do that paranoia. It's the same as... you could have done it with the same... No, actually, you know what? You could do it differently. You could do what Shadows over Camelot does. Okay, so now you found the Thing. Now the Thing changes. Now they're doing certain things to try and screw with the group. Now they've been discovered.
Yeah. It could turn into a Fury of Dracula scenario where it's like, now you're revealed, now the situation has changed.
Yeah.
Right? I can see that. Or in the same case, the fact that have the Thing already present as a hidden movement.
Yes.
Right? And it's controlling, the GM is controlling the Thing, and then there could be players that could be turned, and you don't know until the end. Mm-hmm. If. I would like it for these games to be in a situation, because both those games, it's nearly impossible, in the first game it is impossible, to get to the end of the game without someone being the Thing, right? But in both those games, they're both making an assumption, wait a second, there's more than just us. There's actually a whole group of us around us, because we're being attacked by things, which means NPCs are around us. There should be a situation where we've destroyed all the things, but we're all still human.
Yeah.
Our 4 characters did manage to make it out without being infected. Both these games, it's nearly impossible to do so, and I think sincerely that they could have made it a system where there's still things, there's still paranoia, but there could be, or it doesn't have to be mandatory, as I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And it could even be, yeah. Yeah. Now, in Fury of Dracula, do you get turned into a vampire if you lose to Dracula?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't played the game.
Remember.
But every single version of the game I played, I've not seen that. Yeah. We're getting off topic here, unfortunately. But because again, we're dealing with Kickstarter because I don't know who goes there. Really soured me from backing a lot of games because there's a part of me that looks at it and says, okay, it comes to me like you guys have to prove yourself. Mechanically, you have to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. And you have to prove yourself that you know how to design these games and make them balanced. Because you guys made 2 big freaking missteps in this game.
Yeah.
You knew how to make your game, but you didn't make it well.
Yep.
Right?
And I agree with I agree with everything with Tom's review on Who Goes There. He's like, it could have been a great game. Almost.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
And, and that's my thing, like, I get you can homebrew it, but I don't want to have to homebrew it. I want to be able to play it out of the box. Now, I homebrew, like...
Unofficial rules by the creators would help.
Because, I mean, some of the homebrew stuff that you suggested was, like, altered the whole game completely. Like, it wasn't even the same game anymore.
Yeah, that's fine, though.
But, I mean, the homebrew... That's not my idea of homebrew. That's redesigning the game.
Well,
homebrew for, like, thing with Gloomhaven where it's like, you collect all the gold. It's like, oh, okay. Well.
No, I think removing player elimination... And simply, if you get 3 strikes, you move those 3 strikes to the helicopter. Mm-hmm. I don't think is a drastic redesign of the game.
No, the one I'm talking about is the vulnerability cards, getting rid of them completely.
If that was a variant, based entirely if you wanted to play the game with 2 players and you just want to do a survival game.
Yeah,
because that game cannot be played with 2 people.
No,
but if you play with 2 characters each and you want to, it works. You have a complete thing. Is they could have done that. They could have included that and say, look. This game doesn't work as a 3-player variant. This is a 2-player variant without the thing, but it's still a survival game. Go for it. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with that. I don't think it drastically changes everything. I'm not taking their mechanics and really designing a completely different game out of it. Right? And the same thing with Alien. And the Infection at Apple 31. The fact that instead of just being assigned blood test cards, you gain blood test cards, which is basically exactly the same as the vulnerable cards, except. You don't automatically know if you're the thing at the beginning, which just makes sense. Like, why didn't they do it that way?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because they want people to be able to screw around with the missions from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Right? But for that first mission, or even the first 2 missions, you get 2 missions where like, all right, we're all human, and then they're like... Then that changes.
Yeah.
Where in Who Goes There, there's nothing. There's just like, oh, you have 2 vulnerable cards, and he has 1, so... He could still be the thing, but I'm going to trust you less because technically you have more vulnerable cards. You have a much better chance. So it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like how Infection Outpost 31 deals with the infection cards better. Like as the game is written out of the box, I like it better.
Oh yeah, it's a simplistic. The reason why their system is balanced because it's not original. They just took Resistance and Dead of Winter and went.
Yeah, but the
so of course it was going to work well and be balanced because they didn't have a lot of originality.
But Resistance and what's the other one?
Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter doesn't have the next round. You get more cards, and then if you already are the traitor, then you give back the traitor card type kind of thing. They don't have that. I like how they did that because it gives you the ability where it's possible that. There's now 2, but there may still only be just 1.
Yeah, because you could get the other thing card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there could be more, but there may not be, and and so that does change things.
Yeah. Like for me, I don't know. I guess I was expecting a game where there might be a thing, but that grows that paranoia. But if that thing, like I said, if you slam the 2 games together, you could have had a great game.
Yeah.
If you took the best parts of both those games. Mm-hmm. I still wouldn't. Then at least would have given out a little gift and just said, "Hey guys, here's a two player variant. It doesn't have a betrayal mechanic, obviously."
Yeah.
That's ultimately the biggest reason why I wouldn't have backed the game. Because I was like, we don't buy 3-player games because they never hit the table as much because 90% of the time it's Nicole and I playing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the reason why I really dislike games that say 2 to 6 players and you open up the box and you're like, oh, phantom players. Fuck you.
Yeah, and see, for me, I usually get, like... I can usually have 4 to 6 all the time. Usually higher on the 6.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit more difficult. I have access to 3 or 4 other people, but their schedules are so tight. It's hard to get them to the table.
Yeah, and these ones, like the people that I get together, are usually on Saturdays.
Yeah, your group is easy.
Yeah, they're consistently. I get 4 to 6.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Your issue is like, fuck, I need more large count games.
And that's always my problem. So, and like, honestly, if you were to play, I think the Infection Outpost 31 with the full 7 to 8. Like, I've played...
Oh, no, I fully admit it, even the video, like, when this game moves beyond 4 players, it becomes good.
Oh, it is.
And the only reason I said that Doug was the better game than Bob was only because I will not be able to bring 6 or 7 people to my table consistently. I said that in the review. I said, Bob is the better game. But I have to get Doug because... Doug is playable with 2 players when you homebrew it. You cannot homebrew Bob to be played at 2 players. It is a betrayal game. You need 6 people.
Yeah.
Like standard average group is 4 people. If you say I bring 7 or 8 people to the table all the time, yeah, of course. Bob is the better game, obviously, because it actually friggin' works at that level.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't work and that's my problem with that game. 4 players could have worked. You just needed to add a few more cards.
Yeah,
It's like that seems like that. Who Goes There has a fundamental flaw.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental flaw with the base core premise of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
And the randomness.
No, yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. It's got fundamental flaws.
Yeah.
Flaws that are basic in infrastructure. You can't just fix with a polish.
Yeah.
You can create a different variant of the game with a polish, but you can't fundamentally fix their overall game. Infection's like, okay, how is this? How about I just photocopy 4 or 5 more of these 3-player cards and put them in the deck and take out some of these 4 to 5-player cards, and we do that instead? Yeah, that works. Why did you guys do that? Simply make 6 more cards and remove the 4 to 5-player ones in a 3-player in a 4-player game, and then it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a balancing. It's a production issue.
Yeah,
you guys did not. There's some situations you look at the campaigns and go, you guys didn't test this, did you? It's like the game when you're making space stations, right? There's like 3 games in the same universe. I don't know why I'm blanking, but the 2-player variant is horrible. And somebody sent them like after the game, the first printing came out. And some guys like, this game is. And so when they printed the second printing, that variant is in there, like. Okay, yeah, that version isn't very good. We're leaving it in there because that's the version we have. This guy here, we gave him his name, sent us a much, much, much better version to this because our version's bad. Because the game, you have to use phantom players.
Yeah.
Right? But because unfortunately some card drafting games just don't work with 2 players. Like, they're not designed to work with 2 players. And so you have to employ phantom players. But they're like, yeah, but if you discard a card and then draw a card when you hand over, you automatically add more cards into your hand, and it gives you that kind of... It allows more cards to be recirculated, and that kind of works. And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks. It's like, yeah, if you guys have freaking tested it, maybe... It's like, but you didn't. It's one of those things where when you surround yourself with a bunch of yes men, it's really difficult to find. So I was like, well, who goes there? There had to have been people that said... You can't have player elimination in a 3-hour game. Or if you do, make sure it's in the last turn. Yeah. And one of the people who posted said, yeah, no, we have player elimination, but it's only in the 3rd phase. In the first 2 phases, you lose half your stamina, but you don't die. So even the people who are playing the game verbatim are still employing something to keep players in the game. Yeah. But there are some people who said, yeah, I know, somebody got knocked out first phase, and that was it. We were done. Yeah. Because, like, what do you do? I mean, at least Bob, was smart enough to put the flamethrower in round 3.
Yeah.
You could eliminate someone in round 3. But I also said the fact that if someone's really dumb, and it's like, well, his person's obviously the thing, I'm tying him up. You could nerf that guy so he cannot do anything to screw you over.
Yeah.
Right? So once we get the flamethrower, you're dead, buddy. So you can make it enjoy, but that, once again, based on your inability to bluff.
Yeah, exactly. And
where who goes there is like, oh, I rolled a bad die, I'm dead.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, there's just way too many ways to die in Who Goes There, which just it pisses me off.
A lot of games you have a lot of. Once again, it's one of those things where, as I stated, if the game was a survival snowscape game and there were monsters and it wasn't the thing and it didn't want to bleed with the whole idea of infection mechanic, and they removed the player elimination and they just either had a situation where, like Pandemic, if one guy dies, everyone dies, or a situation which actually somebody suggested, which was putting the 3 strikes on the helicopter bonus. That's a fun game.
Mm.
It's a single mechanical compromise, and it's a fun game. So the randomness sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah. I also love the fact that the game comes easier depending on 2 things that the game didn't seem to think was easier. Like if you take the scientist and you take Copper and Kinner, the game gets really easy because one guy has all the food and the other guy has all the med kits. Like if you take those 2 characters, the game gets a lot easier.
Yeah, I don't think we played with them.
Yeah, we take Copper and Kinner because Copper has, he has 8 med kits, and his
Jesus Christ,
he has 8 med kits, and his locker die has a med kit, so he can give out all of his med kits and then heal himself with his own med kit. He just has to roll that die. Oh, med kit. I was playing with Nicole. I rolled med kit like 3 times. He never got hurt because he kept on healing himself, right? And I was giving out all my med kits to the other characters. That's the first thing. Kinner has all the food. So, want some food? Want some food? Because I have snacks, and I can unlock it so I can use snacks for my own food, which means I never run out of food. So I can give out my food to everybody. And boom. And then on top of that, they always tell you, if you want an extended game, there's an extended game which has 2 more rounds to each phase. And Tom's like, God, don't do that. That's a horrible idea. Hey, if you want to win the game, you should. Why? Because you have 2 more rounds of getting supplies. Yeah, sure, there's 2 more missions where you have to roll, but it's 2 more rounds where you can get supplies. And the game actually got easier. By the end of that one game with me and Nicole, we had Copper and Kinner, right? By the time, I kid you not, by the time we got to the end game, right?
Yeah.
The helicopter bonus, you have to get the helicopter bonuses. She had 24 bonuses on her character card alone. Jeez. Because she never died. I kept on healing her, so if we were playing with the infection mechanic, if she was a thing, we were fucked.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because we had, by the end of halfway through phase 3, we had unlocked all the spots on our character boards. And she was piling up so much XP for going outside and diving into the decks that she was just dumping XP into the XP overstock and getting massive bonuses. So we had to get to 24. That was our helicopter goal, was 24. I think we got to 42.
Jesus. Wow.
Right? And that's why I said that you can change difficulty by adjusting the vulnerable deck. Mm-hmm. And so forth. And once again, if that goal would have been a bit more difficult because in that playthrough we had one character get killed, so that would have been a -3 penalty to that. But once again, as I said, there's I think the basic engine is sound. I dislike. The other thing was the infection mechanic on its own, right? The fact that, which was, I said, was a fundamental flaw. If I infect you, and you infect, say, Brittany, and it's all 3 of us, we all get on board the helicopter. Oh, we're all the thing. I guess we lose the game.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, but they had to. They had to put that mechanic in. Otherwise, we'll just infect each other and we're all the thing. Okay, I guess all we need to do is survive, and then we win. Nope. Yeah. If there's 1 human left, and there's so if there's if there's 1 human and 1 thing, the thing absorbs the human and dooms humanity. If you're all the thing, then you all lose because you don't have the energy to survive the journey. And of course, my thought is, what about the helicopter pilot? It's there's nothing in the canon that ever said the alien had a power reservoir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's just,
but they had to do that. Otherwise, you could win the game with a complete thing takeover.
Yeah.
But they wanted to have players infect other players, which Bob didn't do.
Yeah.
And because they did that, they had to include a rule that said if you were all the things, you lost the game, even though there was no thematic reason for it to be there. So you had two choices. Either you could only infect one other person, or once you got the thing, you could not infect somebody else.
Yeah.
So you have two choices. And they didn't want it. They wanted to be able to infect somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb. And that's my problem, is just like, I feel...
They had the end goal, and they didn't know how to get there.
Yeah. And that's my thing, is like, playing a game with homebrew rules that have to adjust their game that much, I feel like I'm rewarding the game designers by still playing their game. Like,
yeah, but they got our money.
yeah.
Now I'm doing it for myself. Because I bought their frickin' game. I'm giving them a bad review. But now I have to find a way to justify the $160 I spent on this thing.
Fuck yeah.
Right? And that's the reason. Now that affects my interest in purchasing them in the future, backing other projects that they put forward. Like, I won't back D6.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for stuff to see if that's actually a good game. If stuff tanks, and I was just like, yeah, that's it. I'm done with you guys. If stuff's amazing, I'm like, okay, I'll buy D6 when it goes retail.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that's just like, there was somebody who was running that Who Goes There project and said, this has to be done this way. And so there have been situations where I was working on my role-playing game, and I had the end result, and I couldn't figure out how to get there. I would pace around my house for hours until I made it work.
Yeah.
Right? I couldn't just go, it's just because. I could never accept just because. Amethyst is filled with all these ideas and mechanics that have internal consistency.
Yeah.
I created an entire race, an entire empire of slavers, because somebody told me that if I'm following my logic, then there can't be any half-elves in my setting. Right? And it's like, damn, I gotta make it work. And I literally created this whole system that made it work. And then slavery came about. Like, unfortunately, I had a great positive and then a huge negative. But I had to create, everything had to have a checks and balance. And if I was in that playtest and I saw that check and balance, I was like, no, you got to figure out another way to do this. Either have the thing being wanting to sabotage the group beforehand, remove the helicopter, because obviously somebody else is using it, so don't rip them off. 3, do something to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just... Yeah, I think the thing should have a way to... Well, and a part of it is maybe it's just the way we're playing it, but I don't think so. Because
I think like,
maybe they assumed that like the thing would spend its actions to attack people, saying, "Oh, that person's the thing, so I'm going to attack him." Like he's going to like throw suspicion on somebody else by attacking them.
Yeah.
Because I think if you attack them, you also have to then exchange infection clickers, don't you?
No.
No.
Only when the thing is revealed, the thing can do a thing attack where it hands out its vulnerable cards to everybody. Right?
But there's only one vulnerable card.
Yeah, but he's going to have it.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't feel like there was too many things the game was trying to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of... Like I said, I mentioned the fact that there's dungeon delving. Like, there's XP and leveling up in the thing.
Yeah.
Like there's one game, there's one IP I wouldn't think of. Oh yeah, you get to level up and unlock your abilities, and you get to be stronger and build something.
Yeah.
And with you can, like I said, you can build. You can take 2 scarves. You can take 2 pieces of cloth and make a scarf, and then add another scarf, another 2 scarves together, and make a jacket. I'm like, when did McCready do that in the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because that's funny thing is, it's all about survival. You're all, it's a plan to stormy outside. I'm thinking, that wasn't in the movie at all. None of that was in the movie. In fact, the facility was just fine.
Yeah, the build, crafting things.
It's shocking how similar the games really are.
Yeah.
They're both titles where you're both being rescued by a helicopter. The whole place is going up in flames. I'm like, that literally doesn't happen until the last act when they decide to destroy the thing. And by then, there's only 3 of them left.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're taking the last act of the movie, but then that game is doing it over the course of several days.
Yeah.
I'm trying to really figure out who goes their intent was, but I was shocking the fact that they made these 2 games with identical processes and end game states. And they came out at the same time, so they couldn't have been ripping each other off that much.
That much, yeah.
Well, no, because I remember the timeline, because Bob put out, they're making the thing, the game, they showed the board, and then they went silent. Who goes there, runs their campaign?
Yeah.
Right? And just after it ends, Bob posts their manual, and they start heavy promoting. Their system was locked. Who goes their system had to have been locked. It had to have been pure coincidence they had identical games. I was like, wow, how does that come about? You think one of you would be more faithful and go, no, this is just a survival story. You want to get to the end, and the game ends if you reach the end of the game and there's a thing still alive.
Yeah.
Like, why did you both have to have the helicopter? One guy just, because the 2011 film had a helicopter. I go, it had a helicopter halfway through the movie. It didn't end that way. Like, why isn't there? But
yeah, it did.
No.
The
helicopter,
the prequel one.
The prequel, the helicopter crashes, and then there's another helicopter, but there's still no escape. There's no escape ever. The 2011 film ends with a battle at the spaceship. So, but it's like, why isn't one game hidden movement? Why isn't one game exploration and like almost like Aliens hunting down the thing? Like, why isn't it more like Resistance in kind of thing? Where we have just simply people accusing each other, right? All the stuff about getting gear and just trading in cars, and yet they're both dealing with trading in items to make trading in items to succeed at certain tasks, and it's like, wow, it's shocking how similar games are. And you think Who Goes There was committed, but you think once Bob saw Doug's rules, you're like, okay, well, we can step back a little bit and make some changes. And they're like, nope, plow forward. We'll be out of here before them anyway.
Yeah,
and they did. Yeah, and now we have two identical games, right? And one's just overly convoluted and long, but looks fantastic, and the other one is tight, but for some reason never bothered to test their game out for 4 players.
Yeah.
I know perfectly well. They're probably like, oh, this game is for 5 to 7 players. No, you got to put 4. And they go, the game's not balanced for 4 people. No, you got to put 4. No one's going to buy this game if it's 5 to 8 players. And someone's like, okay, fine, put it 4 to 8. And some guy, wait, maybe we should probably add some more. No, just put 4 to 8. People will figure it out. All right, so that was that. This has been Chris.
This has been Dave. And remember, rules are just a suggestion. Play the game how you want to play it.
And play the game you want to play if it's fixed. Homebrew it is just fine.
This is also true.